Today we're going to be talking about these two kind of juvenile trees to either side of me. This one is our loblolly pine, and this one is our longleaf pine. Both of them are native to the southeast United States and North Carolina, of course. The longleaf pine is actually our state tree. And so we're going to be talking kind of about the differences between the two and the ecosystems that they live in. So you can see that their juvenile stages do look pretty different from each other. We call this the grass stage because it kind of just looks like a big grass. And then this we would just call a sapling. But you can see the size of the needles is pretty substantially different. The longleaf pine needles can be up to about 14 inches long, whereas our loblolly needles are at a maximum of about 8 inches long. And the growth rates of these trees is pretty different. So our longleaf pine is going to take a long time to grow when it's in its juvenile stages, whereas the loblolly is going to shoot up pretty quickly. Their seeds are different as well. So the seeds for our pine trees are pine cones. This is the loblolly, this is the longleaf. And as you can see, there's a pretty substantial size difference here. That also affects how far our trees are able to spread. The bigger longleaf pine seeds can't really be dispersed as far as these smaller loblolly pine seeds, just because their size inhibits them a little bit. So our longleaf pine has been a long time kind of major part of our economy here in North Carolina. They are harvested for their lumber because they grow very strong and very straight, whereas our loblolly can be a bit more tapered. So a lot of our longleaf pine forest ecosystems have been kind of affected by over-harvesting historically, but now we are kind of working on preserving those ecosystems a little bit more. So the longleaf pine ecosystem is really important because it supports a lot of species that don't live anywhere else. It is home to the red cockaded woodpecker, which is endangered, and it's also home to over 900 different plants that actually can't live in any ecosystem other than our longleaf pine forests. One thing that we do to protect our longleaf pine forests is we actually have organizations such as the Nature Conservancy who are specialized in actually doing prescribed burns through our longleaf pine forest ecosystem. And you heard me right, I said burns with fire, which seems pretty crazy that we'd want fire to run through a place with a lot of trees, but the reason why that's important is because our longleaf pine tree is actually fire resistant, and a lot of the other trees and plants that exist in the same ecosystem or can actually kind of take over the ecosystem, such as the loblolly, are not fire resistant. And so they need that fire disturbance to kind of clear the understory, which you can kind of see what I'm talking about a little bit better over here. So here we have a lot of plants growing in our understory, and if our longleaf pine tree is in its grass stage, these kind of understory plants can easily take over those grass stage trees and suffocate them, and they don't make it into being adult trees. If fire moves through and kind of takes out all of this understory growth, then those saplings of the longleaf pine have much more room to grow. The longleaf pine can live for a long time, so the lifespan of our loblolly kind of caps out around 100 years. The longleaf pine frequently lives up to 300 years, and actually the longest living longleaf pine tree is in North Carolina, and it is 473 years old. It's located in Weymouth Woods State Park.
Woo!
We do have an example of another loblolly tree here, and so you can see that these guys do get pretty big, pretty tall, pretty old as well. All right, thank you so much for joining us for our Tuesdays at 2 with Airlie. Be sure to check us out on Thursday for the program that we are doing with the Cameron Art Museum, and then we'll see you again here next Tuesday.